This is starting to get old. I can't wait. Picard, wait. I can't wait. Picard, wait. I can't wait.
Hey everybody, welcome to Can't Picardly Wait. I'm Wade. With me is the usual band of my synth twins over here.
Oh,
nope.
Boy.
Nope, that analogy does not work at all.
I was about to say,
Never
if you
mind.
see what Sean and I look like, that is not accurate.
Yeah,
No, but it's fine. I'll be Daj.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
You could,
Exploded.
So cheap.
I explode in episode 1.
yeah. Sean and I at least are like two bearded
Right.
white dudes with black hair. So it's
Glen
pretty
is
easy.
Glen is our Maddox.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Welcome. Hey, I can't Picardly wait. You can't Picardly wait. These guys can't Picardly wait. It's me. It's Wade, and with me are Glen Hall and Sean Parada.
Hello.
Hey, hi. I guess Glen's keeping it quiet this
Hey,
episode.
no, I said hello.
A nice change of pace.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey.
Just getting with you.
And yeah, we're here. We're talking. We can't Picard. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying the title. It's so
Yeah,
dumb.
Jesus Christ. Look, I like the pun. It's a great pun. Shut the fuck up.
Right. But yeah, you know what this pod is. This podcast where we're talking about that Picard show. Go figure. Not that other Disco Home Companion. Sorry, I said the name again. This is a totally different podcast.
Oh my god.
Got to get that brand awareness out there.
Yeah.
Are they like filming Disco season 3?
Yes, I think they're starting to get ready to wrap it up. Or not.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
All
I imagine they probably want a kind of never-ending rotation of Star Trek content eventually.
Right, I was gonna say, is that like set to drop when like Picard ends? Is that
No, I don't think so. They wish
Okay.
they could get their acts in order and
Right.
to have a constant stream of Star Trek streaming on their streaming service.
Right.
But I don't think it's going to line up. They want to get long enough for everybody to binge Picard after it finishes, probably,
Oh right,
and then squeeze in a few short treks in there that nobody watches.
I have not watched one short Trek.
I've
Right,
seen
well-
the Kelpian one, that's the Saru one, and I can't even remember the other one I watched.
It does well. Y'all are missing out because there was a whole prequel to the Picard show where it showed two little girls going to school, but their parents. And it was a music video to a cover of Heroes, I think.
What?
Maybe it was the Bowie version. I can't remember. It may have been, yeah.
And this ties into Picard somehow?
It does because their parents worked at the Planetopia shipyards on Mars.
Oh.
I don't understand. You know, I had some questions when I watched it. Like, what does We Could Be Heroes have to do with these little girls who are one's bullying the other at school? But then both their parents die.
Oh, and
Because
is it like
Mars.
they just like bond over the...
Yeah, and then they're holding hands at the end.
Ah,
And like
gotcha.
they were enemies, but now they're going to be best of friends. And
It's a Frozen situation.
yeah,
We've got a Frozen.
You know,
man.
classic Star Trek crossover with
Yeah.
Frozen.
right.
Yeah, it's
right.
a classic Frozen.
I'm waiting to see them all growed up 14 years later on Picard, but we'll see.
Right.
Because I don't know that they'll be heroes or not, but the song led me to think they would be. But wait a minute, this ain't about short treks. This is about Picard.
Yeah.
and we're talking about this third episode called "The End Is the Beginning,"
Fuck you.
which I guess makes sense because if you didn't finish the ending of TNG or Picard, or you might not know what the fuck is going on. Is the inkling that I've gotten.
Hey, present. There's few times where my my lack of deep like Star Trek background has like prevented me from understanding a full episode of Star Trek.
Right.
I really feel like anything that happened on that Borg cube just like left me behind.
Yeah. And for all my talk of like, hey, leave fandom behind, everybody, the last two, I really started it up all cheer up emo kid about like fuck franchises and corporate IP to let.
Yeah.
But this one, I was like, hey, this is stuff I recognize.
Right.
And you know what? I really like this one.
Was it good? Okay, good.
Interesting.
Good.
Okay.
I'm glad. I wouldn't know.
But then it was for me because I knew what the fuck was going on. And
right.
I was watching, with the person I was watching with, who also, like you, was like, what the fuck is a Borg? And I was like, well, oh.
Uh-huh.
And I had to pause and explain it. And when I didn't pause and I just let it play over, I should have.
Yeah.
It didn't end well. I had to. Okay, this is what Borg are.
I wish you could have paused my TV and told me what the Borg are, because and was that a Borg queen? Is that
no? That was not a. I don't think it was.
Oh fuck! The song's wrong. All right, damn it. Shit. Doesn't matter. It still might be.
And Deshaun, just to be clear, you're talking about the Romulan that Soji was talking to.
Romulan?
Yes. Yes, they were
the reclaimed.
She had rocks. She had rocks in her face.
Yeah, they all have rocks in their face. Cause okay.
Fuck! Oh no! Oh no!
Strap in, Sean. We're getting into the weeds.
Right. So I guess people. For a synopsis, they can just wait till the song at the end of the podcast episode
nope.
here.
Nope.
No, it's not going to explain it for him.
Oh, fuck. We're getting a lot of tweets about this.
It'll explain the part where they shot some Vashtervergs, but that's about it. That's about all it's going to explain, because that's all Sean understood.
Okay, you understood Picard going down to hang out with Raffi.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's because a flashback told me about and Raffi's new.
Oh,
right?
and I was going to ask that too.
Raffi's not in canon before this episode.
Not
right?
that I'm aware of. She showed up in some comics.
Right, so again, book something.
But they probably had already cast her, I'm sure, because that character in the comic books looks a whole lot like the actor. I bet.
Oh, interesting.
Bet there might be something there.
Right, that's funny. Yeah, I thought starting off with a flashback, I wasn't as excited about it as I was in the first episode, but it wasn't bad.
Right.
It was fine. I compared to the last episode where like the flashback was like this event that everyone's been talking about, and I guess this was too, where it's like, the reason that Raffi hates Picard, or JL as she calls him.
Hate it. Hate it. Don't like it.
It did not feel right. I'm not.
No.
But
yeah, I mean, if the last cold open was like, maybe are all the cold opens just going to be a flashback progressing down that?
Right, that doesn't interest me.
Yeah, it's going to be like Westworld with 2 timelines. Oh God.
Right, no. I think that's like some real diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is something where we didn't need to see the flashback. We could have just, obviously, you got to be careful with just like, verbal exposition like this happened at this time, but
right.
I know. I guess I'd rather like the flashback than them having to be like, you resigned and then I got fired and then this is exactly, we were gonna do it together and then you left and
very, very eloquently put.
I am nothing if not eloquent. So I am nothing.
I mean, it would have been a hefty info dump that
it would have, yeah.
You could have worked it in organically into a scene, or they could have just espoused a bunch of exposition. And
right.
Which would they have done? Hey, let's who can say?
Who can truly say?
It's not on us to speculate.
Yeah. That snakeweed, how about that though? Like,
the introduction of vaping into Star Trek was, I get it, but I don't know, it feels a little strange to kind of shoehorn in something that has recently become a thing in the real world to, I mean, I guess you could argue, it's always been a thing in the Federation, but I don't know, it's kind of like using Beastie Boys in the Kelvin movies, where it's like, it feels a little on the nose to be like, this contemporary thing is popular again now.
Right. See, I mean, to go back to for the franchise nerds versus the people that aren't Trekkies, I will say that Kristen and others
shout out
on the Discord for the Kickers of Elves Discord were a little bit kind of miffed at the implications of the post-scarcity utopian society that we've said the Federation is, where they don't have money. this episode seems to bring back class inequality.
Yeah.
And
how much is it? Yeah, right. How much is this trip going to cost
me? And Raffi being like, you live in that fancy chateau where I live in a trailer out in the middle of nowhere. And she's like, seemingly pissed off about, the 1% or whatever, but it's like,
right.
Wait a minute.
Star Trek up until now does seem to suggest that she would not have to live in that trailer if she does not want to.
Right.
So
right, like everybody's needs are met, but unless you come from generational wealth, that you get is just a trailer somewhere. I don't know, or did she get fucked over because of getting fired from the Federation?
Right, she was definitely. I mean, I've seen like parents on TV shows be less sad that they lost their children than she was that she lost her security clearance.
Yeah, that was she was so sad.
That was like really jarring. Like that was that didn't ring true to me and does make me wonder, right, like if her fall from grace within Starfleet is what led to her sort of being this like right, and I guess a lack of multi-generational wealth to fall back on. Or like, well, whatever wealth means in
the equivalent
Star Trek, which is just a chateau,
If we're gonna get all Manu Sadia Trekonomics, friend of the pod or the other pod, he posits in the Trekonomics book that that's not a money capital kind of economy. It's an economy of kind of prestige. And so, like, if you're famous,
she lost her prestige.
Like, yeah. So, if that's what drives people's sense of worth and everything, then maybe losing your security clearance is enough to be that jarring. Because, like, it's not like I lost $1 billion, because nobody has $1 billion, but that sense of prestige is what your currency that you go through life with. And now that I'm dishonorably really discharged or something, and now what the fuck do I have? Just a trailer somewhere out in the middle. I don't know if that's the nice, well, I don't know if that's one optimistic way to look at it, and
yeah,
I guess, but it's an optimistic way to look at this not optimistic set of circumstances for this post-scarcity future or whatever.
Well, and that could be like a genuine story angle that they want to go with, because the pilot definitely was about implying that the Federation is at the very least losing sight of what it once was. And so I'm kind of withholding my judgment for the moment on that angle, in case it turns out that, like, part of the point is the Federation has made a concerted turn away from their former ideals, and, like, money has been reintroduced in some form or fashion.
I'm just saying Lieutenant Colonel Vindman is going to be living out in the middle of the desert, pissed off and bitter because of the way he got done. Sorry. I hate it when people get political about Star Trek.
I think that's just realistic.
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah.
Well, it's we talk about all the time. Like the original Star Trek was absolutely political. Like, it was supposed to be.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, anybody that says Star Trek isn't political is a dumbass.
Yep.
I'm calling you out, dumbasses. But, whatever.
Wade's coming for you.
Yeah. What was I talking? But Raffi, I was hoping they'd sing some Baby Beluga, but that's a reference that goes over you millennials' heads.
Yes, that's Raffi, the children's singer.
Yes. I'm just calling that out because I brought that up, and I really don't feel like that got the...
You brought it up last episode, and we sort of brushed past it.
Yeah, I
apologize.
That's okay.
And truly, it is because in the moment I did not get the reference.
Yeah,
and had to.
I still don't.
Had to think on it later. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard a Raffi song, but I know of Raffi's existence.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's like a bad open mic stand up saying, hey, you should have laughed at that. That was funny.
Right. Yeah, you're really...
but I'm going to double down. No.
Really painting yourself in a positive light here, bud.
Yeah.
Hey, audience, don't you know you're wrong?
Yeah, right.
Please clap.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm just a little old Jeb over here.
Wade, I think you're the Jeb of this podcast.
You son of a bitch.
That's fine. I'm Trump. Did you see Raffi? Raffi sort of had a little dig or a little Easter egg reference to Discovery when she said people like you seeing angels or whatever that line was.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh, I didn't catch that. What did she say?
I truly don't remember.
But it was there. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, she wrote something about like you can't just look up at the sky and see blank or angels or something, and
yeah.
And I was like, ah, ha, ha.
Another thing that I saw some nerds on the internet point out, like, was it disrespectful at all to Leonard Nimoy's memory to have smoking at all on Star Trek? But
did Leonard Nimoy? Oh,
he died of COPD. That was from his big smoking habit. He's a big smoker. But I'll leave that to the people to figure out if that was disrespectful or not, or just the snakeweed vaping is just topical, right? That's what people are.
Yeah,
I mean, the argument is that if he could vape, he wouldn't have developed COPD because vaping is good for you.
Oh yeah,
full of vitamins and minerals.
Hey.
Oh god damn it!
I don't vape anymore.
Sponsored by Juul.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because Juul's stock is really on the rise right now.
Look, that's why they're sponsoring us.
That's why Juul's really on hard times that they're sponsoring us now. But we'll take their money.
We'll take their money.
Thanks a lot, Juul.
Camp Picardly weight can be bought.
Right. Hey, we are absolutely for sale. And hey, look, here's how confident we are that they won't go anywhere else. Eat shit, Juul.
Right. When people say that Juul is targeting the youth, we're the proof that they're not.
No, we're the proof that they're targeting nobody. This next segment sponsored by coronavirus. So let's get that started.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, she's better, and then she gets him a pilot who is a Han Solo type.
That's a nice way to say a real cliche.
Yeah.
He even says at one point, like, oh, I know you're hesitant, but Raffi says you're the best. Like, well, who's the best what? Everyone's a pilot.
Yeah.
It's the fact, like, everyone flies ships. You don't need the best pilot. You're just going to a place. Just be available.
Well, I mean, yeah, Raffi said he's the best, but she also said, oh, I know one guy that'll do it for you.
Right, yeah. She's like, it's right. It really felt more like, oh, yeah, no, go to my dentist. Like, he's the best. And like, he's not. He's just a fucking dentist.
He's very good and thorough.
He's a good man. And so, yeah, so the pilot, Chris Rios, also has several, or was it several, or was it just one?
No, he's got several holograms.
Yeah.
You know what? And oh man.
Well, but not even holograms because they interact.
Right. What are they called
right?
again? EMH.
No, they're holograms. Oh, come on. It's like, bros, do you even Trek?
Star Trek holograms can interact with the physical.
You bet your ass they can.
The holodeck, I guess.
There's the holodeck, which it's all force fields and holograms, and also the first one is the EMH, which is emergency medical hologram.
Right, because he got a piece of shrapnel in his shoulder.
Right.
It looked like a throwing star.
And he called the other one like a navigational one?
Was like an engineer, because Rios is, maybe he's a cliche. Kristen on the Discord also was like, I hate that guy. But me, again, I don't know what happened for all the one-star reviews saying, if you don't like Star Trek, why the fuck are you talking about it? I actually really like this episode, and maybe I'm just...
I didn't dislike it. I was lukewarm on this week. I just think there was a little too much going on without quite a cohesive thread going through all of it.
Right.
I feel like these, what I'm hoping is this episode and last week's episode are sort of just the common problem a lot of new shows have, is they have their pilot where they really hook people and they set the stage, and then the next episode or two is kind of like okay, now we got to get to kind of like the status quo of the show, or like the main point of the show, and it's kind of a little more set dressing that's not as exciting as what you would see in a pilot.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that once they're now that they're, that he said engage and they're in space, and that things will kind of fall a little bit more into place, and we'll actually see these characters overlapping.
I think for me more I liked this one more than the second episode, just because I like a team,
right.
Oh no,
I like an Ocean's 11,
Mr. Fast and the Furious over here likes a team.
Yeah, exactly. Let's Fast Five this thing and let's build the team. And I know we only got, the pilot, the whatever Raffi is, and the scientist, but
right.
I'm in.
If it's a heist, oh man, I am so in.
Yeah, Rios let me talk. We got to talk more about the EMHs, I guess, because y'all don't know what those are. They're just, well, I mean,
sure don't.
Actually, I don't know what more I have to say other than I really liked.
I liked them. I liked that he's sort of,
because given the brooding, like, I'm rogue type that he was,
right?
He, from this traumatic past where he saw his captain's brain smashed all over the place or whatever, and he's haunted by.
I could have done without that.
For all that kind of cliche of a character, he gets like. A thing that I really harp on in most TV shows is if they can't find ways to have any laugh at themselves, if they're just grimdark.
Yes. Yeah.
And that character, but then he gets the foil of the EMH and the engineer, which is even more just like, he's got what kind of accent was it? Was he Scotty or something?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, shucks.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like one guy that's left on his own to live by himself and kind of drink himself, but you can't pilot a ship with just one guy, but if you have a bunch of EM8, a bunch of holograms, maybe.
Right, so he built himself some friends.
Talking about it now, it actually reminds me a little bit of that episode of The Good Place where Darcy Carden plays the entire cast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I could see this getting to a place where I'm a little more okay. I just think it was a little bit of a misstep to introduce all of them at once, or they should introduce Rios first and then establish like, oh, he has these hologram assistants that look like him and do all this.
Now I loved it. Now it's so good.
Yeah,
To me,
I disagree.
To have the one meet him and to him be like, you're the captain, and the guy be like, well, and then like to go admit it's like, oh, that's who looks like, and obviously Picard knows, he would know what this is. He would know about this. But for us to be like, oh, this is fun. This is like a fun. And then for them to give him shit is great. It's sort of like, he's got sort of like the angel and the devil
right.
shoulder. And they're him and they're funny as a foil to his, like brooding. I love that. I think it's great. I think that's really fun.
I mean, it did bring up another thing a lot of the nerds have, Voyager fans especially, because the Doctor in Voyager is an EMH, emergency medical hologram, and he kind of grows a lot, probably the most of any character on that show, from being just a hologram to a crotchety old person with agency or whatever. But
that's funny.
But it asks like, okay, so synthetics are outlawed, but holograms are fine.
Right.
But then they have their own personalities, and they could just go rogue too if their programming went wild, right? But
well, I mean, it's certainly one's willing to make the jump that like his might not be sanctioned or whatever. If these, I don't want to cross contaminate Treks, but
right.
If EMHs are outlawed in whatever this world is, his he's sort of running off the radar,
right? Yeah,
a little bit. So that I'll go down that road.
Yeah, Picard did have. There was an EMH in the first episode, or not an EMH, just a hologram. Sorry.
Oh, right, okay. the archive lady
in the archives, but she seemed a lot more computery.
Right.
So,
right. Just like a call and response.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Like, are holograms given personhood yet? The way that Data was, it's like unclear.
Right.
Though the Doctor in Voyager was, but there's a whole episode where he's like trying to start a Marxist uprising of all the holograms that are used as slave labor or something.
Oh, that's funny.
But like, apparently that didn't go anywhere, or I don't know. It's like, so, I mean, if you're going to get all super Trekkie nerd about it, you can like, what the fuck? But for story-wise, and like, so I guess I'm somewhere in between the Trekkies that are like, wait a minute.
Right.
And the other people are like, what the fuck? Because I know what the fuck is going on because I'm enough of a nerd about Star Trek minutia that I know all this. And it's working for me. So I guess I'm in the Goldilocks zone.
You're perfect. Yeah, I'm. This porridge is too cold and also too hot somehow.
Yeah.
Is the second one, like when you're talking to him about Picard, like, oh, you've worked for like a cat, blah blah blah. Are they his personality? Are they like different? Is that like, or are these just things?
The holograms?
Yeah, because they know stuff about him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm going to posit if it works at all, like Voyager, like if they're free running programs long enough, they develop personalities. Like the original emergency medical hologram, because it's only supposed to be used in emergencies. In Voyager, it gets turned on because the Doctor dies, and it has to be the Doctor full time. So And
Okay.
by not being shut off and being
It develops.
just
It learns
on all
yeah.
the time, it kind of develops its own personality and all.
Okay.
So maybe that's what happened when a guy lives on his own ship by himself and
spending
just
a lot of
programs
time with them.
holograms to be the crew for him. Maybe they
Right.
do start develop these personalities.
Okay. Yeah, I accept that.
But I don't know. I mean, it's unclear because the show is just like, hey, let's just have fun with this, and that's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. I don't want to dig too deep because I like it. I'm certainly not trying to poke holes because it's.
I mean, I would love for them to dig deeper, but it's for an introduction. This is a fine enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In a season that's like built around, the question of like synthetic sentience and like the morality therein, like that wouldn't surprise me at all if these things get discussed on like a deeper level. I'm into it.
But yeah, I can't get mad because it hasn't been yet in one episode.
Right. Well, I'm sure people on Twitter.
Oh, I'm sure. I can't imagine that any Star Trek viewers would ever get mad about anything.
No. That's not their style.
Yeah. I didn't rewatch this episode, so maybe on a second viewing it won't sit with me as well. But I liked this. But that's mostly of what happened with Picard. I was bummed that his dog didn't go on the ship. He left the dog.
I know.
That is a huge bummer.
I think you asked if the dog was going on the ship. And I said,
yes.
Yeah, of course he's going to take the dog, right?
Right, yeah, we had that conversation.
And nope.
I guess I don't get why the two Romulans who are good at murder didn't go with them.
I think, and this is also from extra knowledge I have from being a nerd on the internet.
Sure.
And they kind of touch on it. I think it gets mentioned offhand, but if you're not following, it might be because they're rogue, former Tal Shiar
refugees. Yeah,
if you remember what they are.
I do. Yes, I'm still with you.
Yeah, so because they've left the Order, they're not safe anywhere out in space because the Romulans, their Tal Shiar don't really like people just to leave.
Right, that makes sense. I don't know how much safer they are. I guess without Picard there.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe they're not. That's right. That's probably a cut scene. It's on the editing room floor, which is fine. I have no,
Right.
I just they were so good at murder.
Yeah, and it's really convenient that they had all those extra guns stashed all over the tables. But you know what?
I liked it.
I
too. Thought it was good.
That was a fun like shift. They go from vineyard employees to fucking John Wick.
Right.
Yeah, I like those scenes when like sometimes in an action movie, like you're introduced to like the PI and he shows, the movie shows you all the guns he has hidden around, and then later they get used, and that's its own kind of satisfying. But just like not knowing they're there and not like never occurring to me, and then them just like pulling them out of all these I loved it. I thought that was well done.
Yeah. Romulans are all about keeping secrets, and they're like, you think we'd be defected super spy agents and not have a little bit of security around for that?
Yeah, no, very into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Zhat Vash really into acid.
Yeah. Maybe Romulans have acid blood or something. I can't remember.
Nothing I've seen so far has established that, but there's plenty left.
Yeah, these guys have acid blood to spit. Yeah,
but so when they spit acid, they die.
Well, I assumed it was like a cyanide capsule, like in someone's tooth.
Right.
Like.
Yeah.
But again, that might be like.
Oh yeah, I mean him. Totally corroding, and that was definite. That's not every Romulan when they die; they don't just melt.
I was about to say, if your blood did that, that's just
yeah.
Right. That's a result of the acid spitting technique.
That is definitely that is not a Romulan characteristic. That just happens when you die.
Yeah, just don't ever get a cut, or else you will dissolve into a puddle.
All right, very good. Oxidization doesn't agree with.
Hey, that's a thing from an original series episode, not with Romulans, but with the people that like. Slow down time so much that they like move in between seconds. Like if people that they convert to their speed get the slightest cut in their skin, they age.
Ooh, somebody wants to be a real life Trekkie over here, don't they?
I'm trying.
We'll get to that.
I liked when Allison Pill went boom with the gun.
Yeah.
No, that good.
Yeah.
I liked, maybe it was set to stun. So that's not a thing.
Right. Well, Romulan disruptors don't have a stun setting.
Yep.
That was kind of fun. She was like, oh, maybe it was on stun. It's all fine.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. I like that.
Like everybody on the internet and their brother also like, so she's like lying. She's a spy, right? Or not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a little convenient that Commodore O, the Tal Shiar
right.
plant, or the,
Sandra.
If I didn't know that Alison Pill was like a regular on the series, I would have, the second that scene started, be like, oh, she's going to kill this scientist. Like,
right. I mean, she's there
immediately after the scene's over.
Well, yeah, but I think, and I almost hope it's not because it's too easy for, like, if she turned her, to, she's gonna go and report in on everything he does.
Right. Because there's a clip or a smidgen of a shot from a Next On or in promotional materials where the Commodore O is doing a Vulcan mind meld with Girardi, which, Glenn knows what that is, obviously.
I know what that is.
Only the true Trekkies
know. Even Sean knows that, but I was just...
Yes, no, that one's weaseled its way into pop culture.
Yeah, my guess is that she might not even mean to be a double agent.
Right, she's gonna get the information from her.
Or she's gonna end up being a good guy, but
so I guess
she might be a spy, but she's gonna end up being a good guy. And
she'll turn out, she'll meet Maddox, and then
yeah, because that Irish Romulan was like not on board with her. It seemed like, and Picard was like, no, she's fine. It's like, what?
Yeah,
she just waltz in here after we get a death squad after us, and says,
the timing of it is disconcerting.
Suspect, yeah.
Yeah.
And Raffi was the same way. He's like, who the fuck is this bitch?
I liked that exchange. That was good.
Yeah.
Did we, oh boy. What happened we talked about all the parts of the episode that I understood.
Yeah.
So
I'm saving.
Guys, maybe I'll just go.
So yeah, then we got Borg cube.
Uh-huh.
So everybody knows what a Borg cube is. So
fuck you.
You seem to... So what questions might you have here, Sean? Because I think for me, it was plain obvious. That's obviously Hugh from the episode of TNG called I, Borg.
I, Borg?
Yes.
All right.
I, Borg.
That's an iRobot. Yeah, no, I got it.
But it was a nice little cameo from a TNG character because it didn't matter if you know who that character is.
Right. I sure didn't. So that's good.
Yeah. And... Glenn, you haven't gotten that far in TNG, have you?
No, but I did know just from reading about Picard that like he was someone that had been on other Star Trek shows.
He shows up in one episode of TNG where they get this baby. They capture a Bjorg and break him a baby Bjorg.
Noted Scandinavian pop singer.
Well, baby Borg is in a baby Bjorg,
and disconnect him from the network, and he starts to get his personality back, and they name him Hugh, and then they have to reckon whether to send him back as a poison pill to genocide the Borg or not, and then they decide we can't genocide a species even if they're monstrous.
You probably should have.
Basically, I can't remember the exact particulars of how that episode ends. I'll wait for Glenn to watch it.
Thank you. That's very much appreciated.
I mean, I can tell you what I did understand about what happened.
Please do.
She speaks Borg. Soji. Soji speaks Borg.
Is that or I think she speaks the language of whatever.
The nameless. He kept saying the language of the nameless.
Yeah. Like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Borg, because Borg don't have a language as much as they speak psychically across the network or something.
Okay, so Soji speaks Borg, and
Sure.
and she so they were like, oh well, you should talk to this lady who is sometimes responsive but sometimes not very responsive, and see if you can talk to her, I guess. And we found out that Romulan Borgs don't work. Right, Romulan Borgs are bad.
Or it seems like they're rare.
And they're all fucked up. They don't work, is what it seemed like.
I think that they were reclaimed though. These were like Romulans who had been assimilated and then.
It was a big deal because it was like,
Right.
there was, from my reading as a person that has. But
please tell me, because I don't know. I'm telling you what I thought.
No, that's what I'm finding interesting, because they're like, Soji was like, I don't have clearance to go to talk to these people, and he was like, I can get you in. And
right.
Hugh was like, I got clearance, I'll do it. And the Romulans are like, you can't do that. And Hugh was like, yes, I can, because I'm the guy. And then they go in, and I guess it was a secret because they're keeping all the Romulan Borgs separate,
right?
Because they don't want the non-Romulans to interact with them, and because that was a room full of just Romulan Borgs, and the Romulans are kind of touchy about that, which
I'm sure they wouldn't be thrilled.
They're touchy about
if word
everything.
Got around. But when they first went, didn't they say like they were all like drooling and shit? Like they weren't
right.
It seemed like they were catatonic.
Yeah, they were all fucked up. Was that some sort of Was that just the way they were keeping them?
I don't know if that's particular to Romulan Borgs or just coming back from being a Borg,
Right.
and
Okay.
you're
All right, yeah. Then my read was probably okay. Then my read was
de-assimilating really is kind of a fucked up kind of process. Anyways,
Right.
It takes a while, I guess. Nobody just decides and then they're back to their happy-go-lucky selves. Like
right.
7 of 9, which is a character we haven't met yet, that will
Not a name.
was her Borg designation.
Nope, not a name.
And
Don't accept that. Not anything.
well, she's the one in the skin tight cat suit in all of Voyager or season
All right,
4.
then I'm back on board.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
she was married to some senator or something. Then
The guy who, the reason Obama won his Senate race in 2004.
yeah, she was married to him, but they were in the like fucking in public on all these weird places or something. There was a
that's
sex scandal
hey.
there. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Sign me up.
Yeah, but
I'm into it. Now I like Star Trek. That's all it took, guys. Come on, I just
anyways,
needed a.
she's not on the. She's in. She is upcoming maybe next week or a couple.
I mean, she's
weeks
been in
later.
a lot of like the marketing material, so like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
imagine she's up soon. So so we see Soji like interview this one Romulan
who's doing tarot cards, Romulan tarot.
right.
I think too many. There's too many cards. You're not gonna get a good reading.
Well, look, the Romulan tarot works differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess the cliff notes is she calls Soji the Destroyer, and then that's also what the guy that they interrogate who dissolves himself calls her.
Right.
Um,
And I remember you from tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so is she from the future?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Is
our
she an
weekly
advanced?
edition of Is This a Discovery Tie-In somehow?
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah. Is she from when they said we can't have synthetics that advanced for another 1,000 years? Is that where she comes from?
Right.
Yeah. But she doesn't even know because she's like, oh, yeah, you Borg lady are from a Romulan ship that got captured last month. And she's like, I don't know how I knew that.
Right. So that's the first instance we're seeing of her being activated.
Right.
Right, kind of.
The way Soji was when she got into a fight.
Right.
And then
Maybe one's Soji is the thinker and the other one is the fighter.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just
but that's a valid.
we saw them get activated differently. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then she like goes back to her like the Romulan former Borg. She like tries to kill herself. She's like, you're a destroyer, and that's when she activates and gets the gun, and then she goes and calls her mom. And I think the mom's got to be just like a hologram, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Right. I don't know what the mom is like. It's not real.
My money's
She's
on the mom
definitely
is
not
just straight
real,
up not
yeah.
real. Like not even
Yeah.
like another synth, just straight up just an AI that they call and has like canned responses.
Yeah.
Right. They need like someone for them to call like a fake.
Right.
Yeah, for them to engage with. I guess maybe I'm a dope, which we're proving in this episode quite thoroughly. But I guess I was surprised that the twins even knew about each other.
Yeah, I was too, actually.
Okay, good. Yeah, I sort of thought like
My sister,
one of the beats would have to be him like convincing.
Yeah, what's wrong with what happened to my sister? And the mom is like, she's fine. I just talked to
Yeah.
her.
Did she's getting a puppy?
Yeah, something like that.
Right. The level of detail is, made to throw her off. I definitely thought like Picard would have to convince her of like
You have
that
twins
she had a
somewhere.
sister and that she was in this situation.
Right. But I mean, the way they found that she was calling from outside the planet, off planet, bum, 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 was that
that's
they
right.
found
Right,
her
that they
incoming
talked to each other.
call log.
Yeah, okay. My bad.
But yeah.
Yeah. Still odd, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, well that's the same. It's the same, like mom that told the first one who died to go to Picard. And she was like, I didn't even tell you about Picard. Oh, yes,
Sure
of
you
course
did. She did a gaslighting Siri, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And did she knock Soji out?
It's the implication seemed to be that something that the mom said caused her, triggered her to like deactivate.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. And then
A lot of questions. I don't mind having those kinds of questions. Those questions I like. I'm into that discovery.
And I can't remember. Fuck you. I can't remember whether that conversation with her mom was before or after Narek talked to her.
Good old. Can I just call him Fuck Romulan?
Yeah, we can
The
call him
fuck
Fuck
Romulan.
Romulan.
though apparently he
FR talked to him after that conversation.
because
I believe.
because then his sister comes off and they're like Game of Thronesy
Yep.
incest.
Yeah, they go-
That was very.
It's not as fun as Michael and Spock, but I do think
Yeah.
There was.
we do have a new let them fuck for sure.
That was deeply uncomfortable. That scene.
Star Trek leaning into the incest in a way that I both did not expect and thoroughly enjoyed.
Well, there's one complaint about Star Trek is that they get the bad guys are horny trope.
Right.
It's something they've leaned at, like the Mirror Universe and DS9 and Discovery for sure.
Oh man, yeah. Discovery
Right, well, it
Universe
does-
is like fuck central.
Yeah.
Right, I am just waiting for like a major villain to have a speech about how great polyamory is. You know, like to convince them you're living in this monogamistic society. And we know what's up.
Right.
We all fuck.
You and your humanocentric ways. We're Romulans.
What is it that Giorgio says? Don't be so binary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm into the sexual exploration, boldly going and whatnot. Boldly going and boldly coming. So
God damn it, Sean.
I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I didn't understand the episode, but I get fucking. So I'll lean into my strengths.
And so Narek's entire approach does really. I joked about this last week, but like his approach.
No, you were right.
His approach seems to be solely fuck based. Like
Yeah.
that seems to be his only trick. Like
Hey,
it's like I will get into a relationship, and then hopefully something will happen.
Right, you're sort of left to I'm pretty like easily taken in by this stuff. I'd be an excellent mark for like a
for a honeypot kind of situation.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, or like a Findom situation. Because like, and he tells her like, I think I'm falling in love with you, and that's when my brain's like, maybe that's real. Like that's something later, where he's
He really
like,
sounds like he means it.
he really sounds like he means it. He really sounds like he cares about her. I think, but that is the kind of thing you could see later. Him being like,
Right.
"Ow, fuck, no! Like I do have to help you escape.
Right.
Damn it, I fell in love with you.
Right, and they definitely seem to be setting that up.
Yeah, that could be.
And so uncomfortable Lannister vibes with
Yeah.
the Romulan siblings.
Oh, we confirmed Sandra Oh is a Vulcan.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's fine.
And I guess the mind meld clip also further that she's not a Romulan disguised as a Vulcan.
Right. Because
Well,
as
yes.
far as we know, Romulans can't mind meld.
they don't have the powers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was that it? I guess the episode ends with him saying engage. Picard
yeah.
saying engage, and them heading off to Free Cloud.
Which is
Is that a video game? Are they going to an MMO?
the gambling city place in Last Jedi or something? I don't know.
Oh,
Right, yeah.
And that's where Maddox is hiding.
Right. And Raffi's got a secret reason for wanting to go there.
Right.
Just so she can, just start anew.
Yeah, right. She's got some gambling debts to settle or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where Maddox is, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And she's like, I'm not part of your crew. You're just dropping me off. It's like, okay.
I got other shit to do.
yeah, so something tells me she's going to stick around.
Yeah, something tells me. Yeah.
I like Raffi. She's that. I think she.
I like Raffi. I like the dynamic.
Yeah.
I guess my thesis is there's just a lot of exposition and set dressing they had to get out of the way these first 3 episodes.
I thought this one did it well, though.
It did it better than last week.
I liked this one. This one sort of like it avoided the big dumps. It avoided, the pitfalls that, the second episode fell into. I think it did a good job.
I'd say really my main issue was just with the flashback at the beginning of this episode versus the one in the last episode.
Yeah, it was, short, mercifully short.
Right.
But,
Did they use de-aging tech on...
I was wondering the same thing. I think they did. At the very least, they did, like, some kind of
I
smoothing.
think they might have just smoothed him out a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think... They didn't go full De Niro.
I remember... And actually, something that made me think about was... just like... I feel like it was maybe... Yeah, I think it was, like, one of the X-Men movies was, like, one of the first, like... quote-unquote modern blockbusters, the Brett Ratner one where they tried that, like the de-aging thing, because I think there's a flashback, and it did not look good in that one.
Even in Ant-Man, it looks dated if you watch it again.
It's. I'm trying to think. Even Irishman, it just they haven't quite cracked it yet.
Yeah,
Irishman.
Everything's got to be a superhero movie to you.
Yeah, that's Iron Man's Barney Stone wielding sidekick, huh?
Sorry, the Irishman. I didn't.
Yeah, so I mean that's most of this episode. I feel like we got that out of the way.
I think that's it. Yeah.
So I guess we're done. We don't have any other hanging segments on this.
No, let's go. I want to plug.
I'm sorry, Glenn. Yes.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm sorry. We shat on you a lot last week.
I apologize for nothing.
And as we lead people through, you're going on a journey as well through. I'm trying to tell people you don't have to be a Trekkie and lead your life that way, and you are just disregarding everything I'm trying to do, and you're getting in, and you're going on a journey to Trekkiedom, Glenn. And
I'm following your lessons,
and it's not right for me to tell you how to live your life.
Hey,
so you know what? If this is a journey that you're gonna have to go on, I can give you 2 minutes to go over to.
Okay. All right, very well. Then it's time for a status report.
I'm going to start a timer.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I got the bosun whistle. What was I going to say? So let me just pull up my spreadsheet here.
How did you not have your spreadsheet?
I have it right here. I'm making sure I'm on the right, because I have a page for you and Benny and...
you could have done this before we started, Glenn.
Minute 45.
I had to play the noise, guys. My 2 minutes starts now. So, my current percentage, I am at, 19.22% of the entire Star Trek canon, which means that I have completed every last bit of the official TOS canon. So that is...
You did that last week.
Well, I finished the original series, but then I finished the movies now too. So every on-screen piece of TOS canon, I have.
Okay.
I've watched now.
So you've saved the whales. You found God with the starship, and you saw the Klingon Cold War end.
Yes, exactly.
1 minute.
Christopher Plummer as General Chang. Some wild shit.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I love him. I love him.
Undiscovered Country is really good.
So
yeah, I honestly like the movies are goofy. Like especially great. I think there's a lesson to be learned there that like Star Trek like does really well when it leans into some of the goofiness and like the kind of plucky optimism of it all. And Star Trek 4, fucking great. Saved the Whales, loved it. Final Frontier, I did not hate it. I actually enjoyed a lot of it. Undiscovered Country was really good. I'd say 4 is probably my favorite of all the movies.
Sure.
Wrath of Khan's obviously great, but it's more conventional.
10, 9,
hey,
8.
It's not a dangerous position or
6.
Or
no, not 4, a hot take at all.
3,
but
2,
and then you
1.
And then you saw some TNG.
Yes, so I've seen some TNG, and I have 2 takeaways from the first couple episodes. Well,
right,
3,
well, you
actually.
went over time. Sorry, you can't get that out. No, sorry, go ahead. I'm kidding. Just do it.
All right, you asked for it. So first
Short,
off,
quick.
The pilot super rough. 2, Data fucks. Like very surprised to learn that this early on. And 3, I saw the episode. Wade, I think you talked about this. I can't remember if it was this or Disco, but about an episode where originally it was supposed to be a lizard planet, and then it turned out
they made the worst choice when they couldn't afford that.
Yeah, so it was. For those not familiar with the one I'm referring to, it's a planet where everyone is black, and then the crew of the Enterprise is almost entirely white, and it's all about the cultures clashing, and there's a fight to the death for the hand in marriage of like the lead guy, and it is the single of the 6,500 plus minutes of Star Trek I have watched, the single worst installment of Star Trek I have seen yet. Like, even if you somehow put aside the really problematic, like, overtones of it all, like, it's got the worst, like, production value. The fight looks fucking ridiculous. Like, it's just terrible on every single level. Like, that's the real takeaway, is, like, I have hit my low for Star Trek after seeing that episode.
I feel like this podcast has maybe hit its low.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah, Glen.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
I cherish your friendship. Okay.
That was.
So
like I said, sometimes Star Trek is bad, and we should all accept that.
Well, I think TNG is just like that first season is just in kind of an uncanny valley of like it's not far enough removed from the production value of TOS to be like impressive, but it's also not far enough removed from like the goofiness and like.
Well, the first 2 seasons of TNG. There's a whole documentary called Chaos on the Bridge and a Rules of Acquisition episode early on where we watched it and talked about it, where it was just a clusterfuck of Gene fucking everything up with all his dictates.
That's my super quick, I swear. Last hot take from this week's status report is I think Leonard Nimoy seems to have embodied the ideals of Star Trek better than Gene Roddenberry did, just from what I've read from behind the scenes stuff, and we'll discuss later. And that's it.
Well, Gene Roddenberry had some problematic things in his past, for sure.
Boy, that's gonna come through real clean.
I know. I was trying to do the bosun whistle just to signal that I was done talking. I wanted it to be a surprise.
Sure. And if you could get that in real life, that'd be great.
Yeah. But that's most of the episode. I feel like we can probably start wrapping it up.
I think so. Yeah, I like this episode. It continues to propel me forward. I feel engaged with this show, and I'm excited to see where we go and what we do.
Yeah, I'm excited to be excited about a Star Trek show.
Disco sort of beat you down,
right? For all the 1-star reviews that we've gotten, like
Wade likes.
We got one this past week that was just say no. I was like, all right, fuck you,
really?
bro.
Oh,
that seems unconstructive.
So on the internet, what? Yeah, so it's nice to be excited about it.
At least they're listening.
Yeah. I hope my favorite is like people that give you 1-star reviews and then they just keep that's my favorite thing in the world.
Right.
And then it's like, all right, well, thanks for listening.
Genuine, sincere. Thank you for giving us your time.
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess I'm sincere about it, but I'm also like, thanks. I don't care if you hate it, but you're still listening. Then, hey, man, whatever, I'll take it.
Hey, yeah, sure. That's a good trade-off.
Yeah. And I love you very much.
All right. Okay. I think we're
I'm sorry.
Here, right?
My last thing is I'm just going to say, watch the Star Trek animated series. It's great.
Okay. And Sean's ready to hang up in disgust, and I get that. And
yeah, I'm good here.
Yeah.
MeUndies lounge pants are really comfy.
All right.
And interestingly, not a sponsor.
No, but I don't think enough people talk about I think everybody talks about the undies, but not enough people talk about the lounge
like the
pants,
pajamas?
Right? Yeah.
I got some of those, the dinosaur ones. Yeah, they are comfortable.
They're incredible. These are, I'm wearing them right now. They're great.
Right. But no, I'm not going to be that podcast that does fake MeUndies ads.
I'm not trying to do fake me. I'm just trying to spread the word.
We do Jewel ads, Wade.
That's right.
An underrepresented MeUndies product. That's all.
Okay.
Your existing MeUndies promo code from another podcast, use it for the pants.
All right, now I'm about to hang up in disgust.
I got you there with me, baby.
At how corporate and corrupt we've come as a franchise.
I hope I understand Star Trek next week. That's all I want.
We'll get there.
Well, that's what we're here for.
We'll see.
All right. I for one can't hardly wait for.
Yeah.
All right.
Flashback to Mars, fucking again. This is starting to get old. I don't like JL as a nickname. Jean-Luc Picard deserves a little respect. Picard resigns like a moron. Gets Raffi fired. What a dick. Soji talks to a Borg queen. I honestly don't know what's happening. She Should have watched more Star Trek. Feels like I'd have a better grasp of alien races like the Borg and Romulans. Captain Rico's cliche, but I guess he's kinda cool. Picard and friends, Merc Talvash, Allison Pill gets one. Raffi's coming on the space adventure. Fucking duh. Can't hardly wait. I can't wait. 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 Hardly wait. Hardly